I'm going, whoa, they didn't teach me this at Cornell. This is kind of radical. I said, but I got it. I got it quickly. And I got the story. And I've spent my whole life reading and studying. And I believe that is the master narrative. And what's important about that is you have to ask yourself, is the United States a fundamentally ethical country that carries out a little bit of racism and sexism? Or is the United States a fundamentally racist country? How did the United States own Hawaii? Spanish-American War, based on a totally fraudulent, trumped-up incident, Remember the Maine, which led to the invasion of Cuba. The Philippines? How did the United States get into the Philippines? How did the United States get into Hawaii? The United States has basically been conquering land under a white Christian flag, under a view of white supremacy, subordinating and killing third world people. This is the master narrative that we have to change. You may not agree with it, but this is a master narrative that I think you have to take seriously and struggle with. Up until now, I sound like perhaps in the school of Noam Chomsky, in the school of a lot of Michael Parenti, in the school of a lot of other people who come on campuses and talk a radical critique about US imperialism that some of you have heard before. What's a little different about me is that I'm primarily a grassroots organizer. What I do is build actually movements. I am actually challenged by the concept, what are you going to do about it? Because critique absent of building an organization, after all, can be somewhat depressing. My view is if you're not in an organization, your life is meaningless. Now, let's get to what we're going to do about it. If you came to Los Angeles, the Labor Community Strategy Center is trying to build an anti-racist, anti-imperialist, anti-fascist united front. That's a theoretical construct. For some of you, it's like, ooh, I wish you wouldn't use those words. These are the ideas that are being driven out of the free marketplace of ideas. Why are they afraid of talking about fascism if they're not moving towards fascism? Why are they afraid to talk about racism if this country is not racist? Why are they afraid of talking about imperialism? Because they have 737 US military bases all over the world. So if you use the discourse of revolutionary opposition to the system, you are in danger as a faculty person of losing your job. You are in danger as a public speaker in being called rhetorical and unconvincing. You're in danger of being kicked off the media. You're in danger. So there's reasons why people talk this way. They talk this way because we're already in a police state and people are starting to talk through the censors. You should know that because if you hear yourself talking mush, understand it's part of your own intellectual suppression. You are already being suppressed. I have to take advantage before the vice closes over people like me to reach out to you and to expose you to ideas that I think are very good ideas in as clear and effective way as I can. We have a community rights campaign that's working in the high schools to stop the pre-prisoning of high schools. Because right now what's happening is inner city predominantly black and Latino youth are being criminalized for virtually everything. We do not need more police. We need the training of police. We need the psychiatric training of police. We need the disarming of police. We need a reduction number of police. I'm not a totally no police person, but a sane, healthy society dramatically reduces and controls police behavior. We have a slogan, we want 1,000 more buses, 1,000 less police. That's moving to 2,000 less police because we want to decriminalize drugs and make it into a medical problem, which any decent society would do. We want to decriminalize many of the things on the books right now. We have another campaign, the Clean Air, Clean Lungs, Clean Buses campaign. We're trying to get cars off the road in LA and working on global warming issues and moving to a public transportation system. That's where we need 1,000 more buses. The Sindicato de Pasajeros is a mass transit organization where we send people onto the bus, organize bus riders, and we built a union of bus riders fighting for better transit in LA. We have a national school for strategic organizing. We've graduated 85 people from our school. It's a 6-month graduate school program. I call it today the Harvard of revolutionary graduate schools, but I think it's going to change to the University of Caracas Revolutionary Graduate School. If you wanted to go to graduate school to become a brain surgeon, you would invest 7, 10, and 12 years before you'd be allowed to operate. But people think they can just join an organization and go out and change the most dictatorial country in the world by just showing up. We don't think so. I think organizing is a skill, it's a vocation, it's not even an avocation. I've done it my whole life. I still have so much room to improve. So we have a 6-month intensive training program where you teach classes. My wife, Leanne Hurst-Mann, teaches classes on problems of imperialism. I teach classes on the organizer's exchange. We send you out into the field, but then you come back and you're held to accountability at how did you do? How many people did you organize? I spend my time right now organizing mainly young people that want to be revolutionaries. For those of you in academia, I feel very sorry for you. I think you're among the most oppressed people in America. And besides the homeless, I don't know if I feel more sorry for the homeless or for you. The homeless have no illusions. They're out in the rain. You are filled with illusion, filled with delusion, filled with perception of your own self-importance, filled with a perception of your own future in America. But if you're reading seriously, you should understand you're in a crisis. The crisis is this is not where you need to be. This is not the primary place you need to be. If you happen to be here, then your job is to use it well. If you teach at the university, your job is to bring students into, first of all, exposure to books like Overthrow, to books like Katrina's Legacy. I was organized not just by Corin Snick, but by William Appleman Williams, The Tragedy of American Diplomacy, by W.E.B. Du Bois, Black Reconstruction America. I'm not an anti-intellectual. Noam Chomsky does his organizing job well. If you're going to stay at the university, run good courses. Make sure people are exposed to good books. Challenge people for the dominant ideology. Take the risks to bring the books into the eyes of students. And then get students involved in programs. If you're a college student, enjoy your studies, but move your major. Make sure you're studying anti-imperialist studies. See? If you're going to be a medical student, start going to a medical clinic every summer, intern in South Africa, intern in low-income communities. We need doctors, but we don't need most doctors. We don't want you to be a pimp for the drug companies. We want you to be a person that really is going to bring those skills and work in county hospital where people are waiting and dying. And you can do excellent medical work. If you're going to be a lawyer, do not become a corporate lawyer, but go work for the public defender's office. I am saying everybody must make a socially committed choice to be relevant and to push the envelope of your own life. Get out of your own comfort zone and really say every day, am I making decisions to change this system? Am I making decisions to take on the Bush administration? Am I making decisions to take on Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, push them to the left? Am I having ties to the masses? You can. Am I going to get a graduate degree and go and teach in an inner city school where you're desperately needed? I'm not challenging your physical situation in the university. I'm challenging your psychological and ideological position in the university. I am asking you to make transformative changes with your life that can make this a better country and basically take this country away from the white settler state, take this country away from imperialism, and have an anti-racist, anti-imperialist, anti-fascist revolution. You're very needed, and thank you for inviting me.